Hello everybody, my name is Dylan, here with Defenders Inc. to bring you a Barbarian overview slash guide for Dungeon Defenders. The Barbarian is a hero class that is designed for dealing a considerable amount of damage while being able to take some pretty good damage as well. He is one of the most unique classes in the game because he does not have any towers or auras or anything like that. He's got stances instead that allow him to do different things in different situations. So we're going to start off with his abilities. So his first ability, beside his heal, is his Battle Leap. And Battle Leap allows you to close distance with your target and do a slight amount of damage when you land. It's pretty good for closing distance, but it's pretty situational because it does take a while to get over to your target, and the startup time is pretty bad too. So I don't find myself using this ability all that much just because of the time it takes to get over there and all that. I can usually just run over there in the same time, especially with Tornado Stance, just run over there real quick. So his next ability is Battle Pound, and it does not as much damage as it should, I think, but it does do a little bit of damage to your target. There's a little cool animation and does pretty good damage. Pretty standard generic damage ability. His next ability, or stance rather, is his Tornado Stance. Tornado Stance is, when activated, it gives you a huge increase in speed, jump height, attack speed, and that's it. But it also lowers your attack damage, so even though you have increased attack speed, your damage will not be higher because it does lower your attack damage. But it's really good for chasing or getting away or anything like that. Any time that you would want to use mobility, it's a really good ability to use. His next stance is a very situational stance, but very useful. It is Lightning Stance. So Lightning Stance, it stuns your target on hit, and it does some damage back to you. So it's not an ability that you want to keep on all the time because you will end up killing yourself. And you are not any help when you're dead. So do not keep this stance on. I have done it before, and it's not very good, especially when you're taking damage as well. It just adds on. It's not very good. But it is useful for if you want to stun a target. It's very good, like the Dijin, or whatever they're called. Those pesky sons of bitches. Stun them, just kill them. Good. Alright, next ability, Siphon Stance. Siphon Stance you will want to have on almost all the time when you're DPSing because it'll give you a huge boost in survivability. So what Siphon Stance does is it gives you lifesteal pretty much. Every single time you hit, it does a percentage of that damage to your health pool. So if you hit pretty hard, it'll do a percentage of that damage back to you. So it's very, I just said the same thing twice, my bad. But it's lifesteal pretty much, life on hit, whatever you want to say. But you want to have this on all the time. And if you don't have it up, or because it does leech mana every single second, and it does more and more every single second that you have it activated, so it does add up pretty quickly. And if you don't have this on and you're in a pretty rough level or wave, you do not want to be in there without this stance. Just wait till you can activate it again and then go back in. Alright, the next stance is Turtle Stance. And Turtle Stance is pretty much his tanking stance. It gives him a huge boost in his resistances and allows you to tank bosses and such. It's very useful for tanking bosses. And anytime that if you're taking a lot of damage, you can use this. Although if you're taking a lot of damage and you really need to get out of there, then I would more recommend Tornado Stance for just running the hell out of there. It's just a lot more useful. But if you want to tank bosses, this is a really good ability. It does lower your movement speed and jump height very highly, so you're jumping like a foot in the air. You can't get over anything. Not even these little rails in the tavern. It's pretty sad. So yeah, do not have this ability on all the time. It's just you're a turtle, pretty much. All right, so his next stance or ability is Hawk Stance. Hawk Stance, when you activate it, your next hit will do really high damage and impair you for the next few seconds after. So it's kind of situational because of that, but it's still a really good ability for doing tons of damage. And yeah, that about covers all of his abilities. Oh, wait. One thing to keep in mind with the Barbarian is that you can have 2 stances activated at one time, including Hawk Stance. So if you want to have on Tornado Stance and Siphon Stance, you cannot activate Hawk Stance because it will cancel the first one you activated before. So just keep that in mind whenever you want to have more than one stance activated. You can only have 2 at a time. Alright, so next thing I want to go over is gearing for the Barbarian. Alright, so first and foremost, you are a melee class, so the biggest thing that you want to look for in your gear is the resistances. Resistances keep you alive, and just, I mean, you can go for straight damage, but if you're just damaged, then you're gonna die really fast, and you're not any use dead, like I said before. So resistance is a huge plus. The higher the resistance, the less points you have to spend in with your upgrade levels, so keep that in mind. Next thing that you want to look for is hero damage. Since you are melee DPS, you want to look for hero damage because it's the biggest boost to your overall damage, and it's just the thing that you want to look for determining which piece of gear is better. Something else to take a look at is the hero health, because you're melee class and you're going to be in the fight most of the time, balls deep, slashing away at everything. So hero health will keep you alive longer, and it's just a good thing to look out for. Your stance, what am I trying to say? Your stance, your most important stats that you want to look for are Hawk Stance. Next after that is Siphon Stance, priority list, that's what I was looking for, and then these ones pretty much, unless you're tanking, then you want to go for Turtle Stance upgrades on your gear. But other than that, it's just Hawk Stance and then Siphon Stance. Alright, that pretty much covers gearing. Next thing I want to go over is, actually no, I'm not done with gearing. Okay, so with resistances, if you do not know this already, in Nightmare mode, right here, it shows my cap is not. It shows 90. That is the cap, but it is not the cap for Nightmare mode. You want to keep upgrading your resistances if you want to go into Nightmare mode past 90. When you're in a Nightmare mode setting, 90 in a tavern or in normal mode will look like it'll be around 66 in a Nightmare mode. You want to have those up as high as possible. So you want to keep upgrading those as high as you can, or 290 if you want to be very useful. And once you get to 90 in a normal mode scenario, your gear, when you upgrade it past 10 or so, it'll give you points to upgrade into resistances. And when you cannot upgrade resistances, put them into hero damage, and that's the most viable way of doing it. Alright, that covers gearing. Now on to speccing. So when you're leveling up in speccing, you want to go for hero damage and hero health. If you need the speed, then you can put into speed, but the speed cap it's either 100 or 120. So you do not want to put all your points into speed because I'm end game and I have 1,000 speed. That's way over the speed cap, and I don't have any hero speed with my spec. So if you need the speed when you're leveling, then put it in there, but once you get to end game and you get over that cap, then I highly suggest respecking and putting your points into something else. But definitely want to cap out your hero health and hero damage first, and then on the Hawk Stance, and then if you have leftover points, into Siphon Stance. And that's about it, guys, for my Barbarian guide. Just make sure you charge in balls deep with your Siphon Stance to stay alive, and just slash away. Alright. If you like this kind of stuff, like and subscribe. I'll be doing more guides for different classes. And yeah, so subscribe, like if you like this kind of stuff, and I'll see you next time.